Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to another episode of the On-Site and Offshore podcast. I'm your host Suresh Ashok, founder of Matsya Infotech with a passion for selling and supporting offshoring projects, where we chat with business owners and professionals involved in offshoring initiatives and also connect with entrepreneurs who outsource the work to India. Today on the On-Site and Offshore podcast, we are joined by Thomas John, founder and CEO of Rejola IT Services. Since 2011, Thomas has led his team in helping over 300 clients across 15 countries streamline their operation through innovative software solutions. With a passion for technology that started in his school days, Thomas also focuses on business development, bringing new clients to Rejola and driving growth through automation. We are eager to hear his insight. Welcome to our podcast, Thomas. How are you doing today?
Yeah, hi, by God's grace, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for your time, Thomas. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. It's a privilege. Thank you very much.
Well, Thomas, let's dive straight to the topic. We're conducting this podcast, season two, especially interacting with our guests, who have experience in selling to international audience. So, can you share the story of your first experience in selling, particularly when you first started selling to an international clients or overseas audience?
Yeah, so I think the first experience that we had was in 2017 when one of my friend who studied engineering with me saw a post of mine on LinkedIn and about the software developments that we were doing, and he got in touch with me. And then we had a series of discussions of what he wanted. He was looking for a crowdfunding platform. And then once I had gathered his entire requirement, I put a structure to the requirement. I sent it back to him. And initially, because it was a big project, it was not a small one that could be developed. So he looked at it and said, okay, he'll come back to me. And then I believe he checked with few other vendors locally. But then when he saw the clarity with which I was able to go back to him with the scoping and the requirement description and also the commercials, he went with us. That was my first international order in 2017.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's how I got it. So it's from a long friend through whom I got that particular project. Yeah.
Right, but now you're into, since you're the CEO of your organization, so your priority is always getting that first, getting that order for your organization.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. Yeah. For us, are you asking if international orders are the
Yes,
priority?
yes, 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 yes.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly. As a
Right,
software
right,
company, I'm sure any software company would like to have international orders more than domestic.
right. So you started in 2017. Even prior to that, you had a mix of like both technical as well as sales background, isn't it?
Yeah, I started in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
This business started in 2011. My corporate life career started in 2004. And so from 2011, we've been making software. So from 2004, it's been sales. I've been in field sales literally. And then 2011, it's been software and sales.
Right.
So yeah, and focus has always been to generate international projects because the size is bigger, the profitability is higher.
Right. And what challenges have you faced when you first started expanding your service to international market, and how did you overcome those challenges?
Yeah, so from 2011 till 2017, we were catering to local customers, and it was more of a passion that I had than running it as a professional organization. So the first international order that we received, first thing is every customer I used to call them up anytime I wanted. I could set up a meeting with them anytime I wanted. There was no time difference, or I'll have to be available when that person is available. So the meeting has to be pre-scheduled. So there was a little bit of a communication challenge initially
Mm-hmm.
because I was not used to it.
Right.
And that was a very small, relatively very very small issue because with respect to developing the solution, we were already quite strong. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we with respect to giving what the customer needs or developing what the customer needs, that was already in place. So I think the only challenge that we had was with respect to communication. So the way we overcame that was we automated our communication. So what we did was we created automated emails that went out to the customer even before the customer asked us, "Hey, what is the status?" The mails went out to customer automatically from our internal project management tool that we have developed. And also the team, we have created a standard operating procedure for the team to ensure that they are updating to the customer on a daily basis. And the internal tool, the software that we use, it ensures that the update has been done to the customer. So that's how it's been built. So we used all these methods to ensure that the communication aspects, which was a little bit of a challenge, we overcame that, and the client was kept happy always.
Okay, so you're saying like you constantly update your leads or potential prospect with your company's information and project update with a tool like which you guys have created. Is it a kind of a drip campaign tool, or I mean an email campaign tool, or it's specific to only project management as well as it does email campaigning?
Now, I was actually mentioning about an existing customer of ours,
Right.
someone whom for
Okay.
whom we are
Okay.
developing the software where we
Fine.
use these automated updates. But
Fantastic.
with prospects, and leads referrals, I get in touch with them through either on a call, or I request them to come on a online meeting, or on WhatsApp chat or something like that. So that's how it happens. So we have not really implemented automated communication mechanism with prospects or something. We've not done that. Because
Right.
I'm the only sales guy in the company. Though I'm the founder and CEO, I'm the only sales guy in the company.
But that could be challenging, isn't it, Thompson? So, what are the steps you take on a day-to-day basis for to generate that leads or to generate that first interaction with your prospect? What people say is opening the door, right?
Yeah.
Because you already mentioned that your technical team is very strong. You
Yes.
already have the fundamental in place in terms of technical deliveries and other stuffs. So,
Absolutely.
what are the action items you take, like to get that entry, the first entry while interacting with the people, like cold calling or email campaigns, or in any other SEO or any other ways?
Yeah. So when I started in 2011, I started after working in corporates for 7 years, and I was successful in sales. I used to do cold calling, and it was quite successful. And then in 2011, when I started, and that too in a field that was relatively new for me, though it was a passion. Software was a passion, and it was a hobby for me. I slowly started getting into networking. I joined the networking organization called BNI, and all of my inquiries that we've been getting is either through networking through BNI, or contacts whom I have known for many years. So that's how all our inquiries come from. And we have not really used any paid platforms so far. We have not gotten to we've experimented various, but we have stuck on to the ensuring that we continuously communicate in the social media. We communicate with all our friends regularly, with all our customers regularly, and that's how we keep generating our inquiries.
Right. And you mentioned about BNI, like how long you've been associated with them. Is that a networking group or a platform like where all the CEOs get together, or what is it like?
Yeah, so I've been in BNI for 10 years, and BNI is a 39-year-old organization started in the US. I think it's been in India for more than 15 years now. And it is a networking organization, it's a referral generation organization where, as you said rightly, CEOs, founders, sales personnel come together, and we help each other out to find referrals for each other.
So, Thomas, when and why did you decide to offer offshore development services at Rejola?
Yeah. See, when I started Rejola in 2011, it was more of an accidental start. It is not something that I had planned, or strategized, or created a business plan and then implemented it. It was not something like that. It was more of in fact, I was in a very different industry. I was in the real estate industry when I started my business. And
Right.
then I started creating software tools for the role that I was playing over there. I was one of the directors there. And because of the passion that I had in software, because I started learning software from my school days, by the way, as an extracurricular activities, and I just kept learning one software after the other. And I started creating tools for myself so that my life became easy in the role that I was playing. And I started getting inquiries for these tools that I was preparing. So another director in the company looked at it and said, "Hey, can you implement it in my business? I've got some challenges in inventory." Then I went to his company, and then I sat with him, understood the requirement, and we I created a small tool for him, and then he was very happy with it. That's almost 12 years back now, and still even today they're using that very small tool, but it's very practical, and it solves their problem. And they referred a lot of clients to me.
Yeah.
He's a well connected person, so he referred, and that's how the business took off. That's how it took off. And to be honest, I really did not have a proper business plan set, or how to do things. And also in 2017, as I said, when my friend contacted me by looking at a post in social media saying that, "Hey Thomas, I've got a requirement, can you do something for me?" I said yes. And then that's how it started. So if you ask
Yeah.
me, did I really plan for it? No. But today in 2024, in fact, for last few years, right from the time COVID started and all, we've been very, very intentional about spreading our message across, and ensuring that more and more people from different countries come to know about us. And we are very intentional now. Okay.
Mhm.
In fact, BNI is also opening doors for me to attend international events where I'm able to network with business owners and decision makers from various other countries. So it's
Mhm.
being done very intentionally.
And what makes your organization stand out from the IT service market? Because there are so many offshoring development companies, isn't it, Thomas?
Yeah,
Especially in the southern part of India, even in the northern part of India, like things are growing very fast, and the competition is very high, isn't it? Like especially the pricing and other stuffs. Obviously, I always felt that southern companies have lots of experience compared to what the northern part of India offers. So how do you organizations stand differ, like, in the crowded market? If I may add another substitute to that, like, what value add does it bring to the international clients?
yeah. So as I told you, this organization Rejola, it started when passion met a very, or rather a strong need in the market. So when I developed tools for myself, I had no clue that there was a market out there where micro, small, medium, even large organizations had a need for such tools, such softwares to be developed. I did not know that at that time. I thought, only very large software companies can develop softwares for organizations. So it is more of a passion that is driving this organization, and it's not just profit. So one of the so what I would say, the offerings that we bring to the table for an international client, first thing is reliability. In 2017, of course, I did a software for a friend of mine, and then in 2018 we started with another client in UK, who was again connected by a mutual friend, I would say, not a friend, a contact whom I've known through BNI. She connected me to this person in UK, and then we exchanged few. He exchanged the requirements with me. I exchanged some details with him, and then from 2018 till today they're still continuing with us, and its reliability was what I would say, that they're still continuing with us. They're extremely happy with us, and they have given us multiple requirements and referrals. And it's also value for money proposition. It's a known fact that when a company from the US or UK comes to India to develop a software, usually the development costs are far more better when compared to developing them over there in their own location. So that's another major value add we give. So, and we ensure that the outcome that we develop is exactly the way they need it. So there is no need of an apprehension for the client, or they need not feel that, hey, I'm giving these guys this particular project, will it come out the way that we ensure that it will come out. So that's the I would say that probably that's what makes us stand out.
Can you share any example of a project which you have completed in the recent past where you applied all the strategy, like, from the time the scope you received the scope and till the delivery happened?
Yeah, definitely. So in 2018 we were introduced to a manufacturing company, and at that time their annual turnover was around 10 crores, and they are into heavy equipment manufacturing. And one of the biggest challenges that they faced was, whenever a client called them, let's say a 5-year-old client or a 10-year-old client who's been with them for quite some time, call them and said that, hey, your equipment is not working. They did not have any software in place. They were completely doing it manually. Three friends got together and started a company, and then they just kept growing. And so they decided in 2018 that I think we should slowly start onboarding a software. We should have a software. When they approached us, they said, Thomas, we've already approached three other vendors, but you were referred by our business consultant, so we just want to give you a try. I said, okay. Then I sat with them, and they explained to me what is the requirement. I just made a quick note of everything, and then they said, can you make a demo? Can you show me a demo? I said, sir, we are a custom software development organization. We do not come with a product. I cannot show you a demo, but rather we develop the way you need it. And then they said, no, no, Thomas, you'll have to show us some demo. And it was a big company, 10 crores for us at that time was a big organization for us, for the kind
True.
of software that we were going to get. Then I said, okay, sir, fine. You've given me this requirement. What I'll do is I'll come back to you with a mock-up of the software. Okay. I'll not be able to show you a complete working model, but a mock-up of the software. They said, yeah, please go ahead. And then I went to my office. I told my team that, hey guys, this is a good project for us. Let's create a mock-up of the whole thing. No functionality, just show how the software would look like. We put the whole thing into front end and just make something so that we can show to the organization and build confidence with them that yeah, we have understood what they need and we can deliver what they need. So my team put up the entire layout and all the menu and all that, and the way it was structured was exactly the way that they wanted it. They explained to me, so we structured the whole menu in that, the flow, click of the buttons and all. It was very, very logically set up in, classified in as departments and all that. So I went back to them after a few days, probably around 3 or 4 days, and then I showed them the demo, and they were extremely happy because the other three vendors had shown them what they had, and the menus were not the way they wanted it. If they wanted a feature, it was like click 3 4 buttons, go inside and you'll get it over there. It was like, it was not that they would get a software to facilitate them growing. Instead, they are forced to adapt to another software which is not at all the way they do, but since they need those reports, they have to go in that. So they were contemplating whether should we go with those vendors or not. And here we are and showing them exactly what they told us. Whatever they said, however the flow should be, the whole thing has been structured like that. So they said, okay, Thomas, how much do you charge? Because that was another issue they had, because those vendors were giving per user license, or some which was like much more affordable. And it's a well known fact in the market that when it comes to a custom software, it's like a package software. You need, it's a
Right.
bigger amount. So
Right.
they asked me, how much will you charge? I told them, sir, I'll charge you 16,000 rupees per month and we'll do the software. And they were
Okay.
shocked because, again, that was not something that custom software development companies usually tell. And that was the
So,
first,
16,000 Indian rupees you're talking.
yes,
Not you. Okay. Good. When I
okay,
was shocked, like, 16,000 USD per month.
no,
Okay.
Indian rupees, yeah.
Yeah.
So this organization, they were surprised and they said, okay, the risk is so small and let's start. Let's see, because you guys are showing us what we need and you guys
Mhm.
are charging us pittance. So let's start. And then I said, okay. But the requirement at that time was just status update. The entire organization status update of the whole manufacturing process. Each manufacturing could take up to 1 month or 3 months, depending on the size of the heavy equipment. So we created the software, and within couple of months, they saw that they were getting exactly what they wanted, status update and all that was coming, and they decided, hey, this is, if we are able to get this from this company, why don't we start exploring other aspects with them? Maybe a CRM,
Mhm.
maybe an inventory management, maybe a
Okay.
vendor management, maybe a purchase department module. Like that, they started adding modules one after the other. So from 2018 until today, we have literally implemented the entire ERP for them, right from the raw material purchase to the service department completely. And we recently captured, we have taken another major order from them. I don't want to disclose the value because this is a
That's
little
okay.
bigger one. And it's for a complete revamp of the software, for a full-fledged ERP. And they have also, the organization, they have kind of floated another organization for service, multi-brand service of their heavy equipment. So that's another one. So for that also, we've developed an entire ERP solution for them.
Right.
And today, that organization is doing a turnover of 110 crores. Started at 10 crores in 2018. They're at around 110 crores. They've also started international operations. And all of these things that we have done for them, I can tell you the cost of the whole implementation when compared to the market rates is at one third the cost.
Right.
Okay, and that's why they're sticking with us, and they're getting the value, that they are expecting, what they need for the operations to run smoothly. So this
Mhm.
is one, I think, one success story that I can say that we've had.
Fantastic. Sounds good. And what about the post implementation support? Because I think you started with something small and gradually, I've developed an entire
Yeah,
ERP system for a manufacturing firm.
yeah,
But again, support and maintenance would also be challenged, right? Compared to what other vendors would automatically offer. So how about that? Like, how did you go about that?
yeah.
And they were based in US or this client?
This company is in Chennai.
Chennai. Okay, fine. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. So I can give you a UK-based client example also. Probably that's another case study I'll tell after that. After I tell
Right.
about
Right.
this
Sure.
question that you asked me. So
Sure.
so what we do is, any software that we develop, in the proposal itself, we clearly tell them that 1 year support is given for free. Okay,
Mm,
already it's at a, highly valuable, the value for money costing that we give. As I said, one third the cost, but we give them 1 year support for free. Now, why do we do that? The reason is because we are a custom software development company.
mm.
So the one of the apprehensions that many clients have when it's a custom software development is, you guys are going to develop it now. What's going to happen after the development? Will it work?
Exactly. Yeah.
So we give them the confidence that, hey, we are a 13-year-old organization. We've kept all our customers happy, and we'll give you 1 year support completely for free.
Right.
So what typically happens is, whenever we develop a software, typically for the first 1 to 3 months, usually there are, requests from the client saying that, hey, can you please modify this particular page? Can you add another field here, or maybe add an approval here, or something like that? It comes in the first 2 or 3 months. It comes, and then after third month, it's all silent. There's not much of a request. Maybe once in 2 3 months there's a small request coming from somewhere, and the client is quite happy. By within 5 to 6 months, he's quite happy, okay, with the whole thing that's happening. And from the second year onwards, we have an AMC agreement with the client, where the client can sign up an AMC with us, and we continue with them. As I said, the clients whom we onboarded in 2012 are still with us, so we sign up an AMC with them every year, and we do it. That is one model, yearly maintenance. Another model is, we have a monthly retainer model, where every month we charge a retainer, and we ensure that our team is available for them whenever they need it. So that's how we take care of the support and, uh, the maintenance and everything after the implementation.
Right. And Thomas, you also told, right, when doing this custom development work, customer always have this fear, like, what if you guys move away? What will I do with the codes? And
Yeah,
if the new team comes in, like, will they can understand what you guys have created? So do you
yeah,
guys simplify the process? For example, listen, I've created this massive ERP system. Even if tomorrow, if I'm not there,
yeah,
any new guys or any new vendor comes into the picture, they can take over easily. Do you guys have that in the mind, like, when developing something like this?
yeah. So in 2011, when we started, when I used to tell my all my customers, so that, sir, we'll support you forever, we'll be there. They said, no, you guys have just started. How can you tell me? I said, no, sir, we will do that. We'll take care of it. And then it took us a lot of convincing, convincing the client that, sir, we'll do it. We'll be there for you. Don't worry about it. This is a passion. We are not doing this for money. We'll not go away. We'll be there. But today, I think after 13 years, we can proudly and confidently say, and we've got 340 customers behind us who will back us, saying that, yeah, these guys will stay back, and they have supported us all along. These are guys who will not go away. So anytime we need them, they're going to be there. So I think, today I can say confidently that we will never abandon our customers. We will never, leave them with the software that we've created for them to find another vendor to take that forward. That situation will not arise. But in case it arises, for whatever reason, if the, I mean, this is in general, okay, it's also applicable for us, because we also get a lot of customers who have had another vendor, and they've not received proper service, and they've come to us. We've got a lot of customers like that. So what we have to do, it's again a challenge for us. We'll have to go sit with the code, with the code that the other company has developed, and understand the entire code. It takes a little time. So the team that we have, one of the coincidence that has happened is, since I approach coding as passion and solution creation as passion, even the team that we have, everybody approaches coding as passion. Otherwise they cannot survive with us. Okay, because that's the kind of culture we have. So these guys, if they look at a code, they try to understand, okay, what is the purpose of this code, what is the requirement of the client, why is the client even asking for this. So they try to relate it with the customer benefit and do it. So we adopt, we've taken up many projects like that, and we have, in fact, customers come to us saying that, hey, this software is full of bugs and the other vendor is not supporting us, and they are asking for a very high amount for us to maintain it and all that. So we say, okay, fine, let's have a look at it, and we take it up. We study the entire code, and then we start slowly rewriting the code part by part and try to ensure that all the bugs are being fixed. We've got many cases like that where we've helped the client like that. So if you ask, if at all a client decides to go away from us, which has not happened, but if it happens, if the developer is quite good, they can understand what is there and what is the logic being used, and they can definitely pick it up from there.
I don't want you to lose any of your clients
Yeah.
since you manage them for such a long period of time. But just a situation you never know, right? Like anything could happen. So
Yeah.
as a vendor, my thing was like whether you give proper documentation for them to understand even if tomorrow they want to have their own developers,
Right.
because many organizations, even I've seen they kind of use external vendors for developing project, but over the years they want to have some internal team taking care of it as well.
True.
So yeah,
So, so
yeah,
I'll
go
tell
ahead.
you, in that scenario, what we do is we've had scenarios where IT companies have approached us for a software. Okay, so why they do that is, they may have a set team, maybe hundreds of team members, thousand team members, who may be working on specific projects. So they may receive one particular project where they may require, let's say, 10 or 20 people working on it. So instead of trying to reshuffle their internal team and all, they just outsource the entire project to us. So we've had scenarios like that in the past. In
Yeah.
that scenario, what we do is we create the entire documentation because the client expects it. It's one of the deliverables from our side. The entire documentation is prepared, and we another deliverable might also be a knowledge transfer. We may have to
Mhm.
literally do a knowledge transfer to the team so that they can then take over the maintenance from there. So
Mhm.
again, see what happens is documentation, doing a knowledge transfer, all that is an effort,
Right.
where I have to put a team to sit and do that and to explain the code and all. So what we do, and especially clients who come to us are small and medium businesses who are really not interested in documentation. They are interested in running their business. They are interested in making profits, growing their business. So when they come to us saying that, hey, Thomas, I've got this problem, how can you fix it? They'll say, okay, let me sit and understand the problem. So I sit with them, understand the problem, and then when I deliver something to them, they, in fact, many of them don't even mind whether, or don't even care whether it is Java or Node or React or Angular. If I say those words, they'll in fact probably get offended, saying that, Thomas, why are you telling me all that? Tell me, how will it help me?
Right.
So our entire approach is like that. So we approach saying that, hey, this will help you increase your sales, this will help you manage your inventory, this will help you reduce your cost. So that's the approach that we bring to every single project that we do.
Fair enough. Agree with you. And what
Yeah.
about the UK client you mentioned? You developed some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did we help them? So in 2000, that also came to us in 2018 again. It was, as I said, through a BNI referral. So what they do is they are into phone case printing. They
Hmm.
print on top of phone cases, and they've got their manufacturing in another place. They've got their marketing being handled in another place. They've got their UK as their head office, and they until then, all the orders that they were receiving, they were basically the fulfillment centers. Okay,
Right.
they operated as a fulfillment center, and they had their own e-commerce store, but they received orders from e-commerce stores around the world. Okay, so every day they received 10 orders, 50 orders, and sometimes during festive times and all that, probably 500 and 1,000 orders sometimes, not always. So
Mhm.
they had to manually type them out. So each of these the selling companies, the e-commerce companies, they sent orders in their own formats, okay, in Excel sheets or maybe through email. They just forward it, and they had to manually upload these. So if there is any change in format, they had to correct the format. So it was an extremely manual process, and which caused a huge delay in them just to get the entire orders into their order processing system.
Right.
Okay, and that caused a lot of discomfort with the online stores, with the customers, because there was a delay getting added because of the manual process involved. So this company approached us asking us if we could automate the from the e-commerce website to the order processing software that they had. Can we automate whatever orders come from them, because this e-commerce website might have 100 different products, out of which only four of them might be for this order processing requirement, which has to come to this order processing.
Hmm.
So what we did, we created a code which automatically installed onto the e-commerce platform. Okay, so
Okay.
whenever there was an e-commerce platform which came to this company in the UK saying that, hey, you guys be our fulfillment center, we'll sell and you be the fulfillment center. All that now they have to do is click a button, and the software gets installed onto the e-commerce store, and it scans every order that comes, and whenever there is an order meant for the UK client, it picks it up, reformats that order in the format that the order processing software can accept, and pushes it into the order processing software. So whatever was done manually is now done automatically by the software, the
Right.
entire thing. So even if it is 100 orders in a day, 1,000 orders in a day, the entire thing sits on the order management system. There is no need of any there is no time lag. So
Right.
when the order is placed here, it reflects on the order management system if it is the order meant for this company. So we
Right.
did this in 2018. We automated this. So initially, what we did was, since the order count was a little less, we did a direct integration. Okay, over a period of time, the number of orders increased, and this direct integration did not work.
Hmm.
Okay, so the reason is because the number of stores have increased, and this server was not able to handle the number of the order management software that they had. Our intermediary software that we created, when it
Right.
was pushing it, this is not accepting all the orders because it was already struggling with many orders coming in. So what we did is we had to rewrite the entire code. In last year, we did that. Instead of directly sending from the e-commerce to the order management, what we did is we created a repository in between, and we sent these orders on a regular basis. Maybe
Right.
in a 5-minute interval or a 10-minute interval, and we send the next one only if there's a confirmation that the previous one has got accepted.
Right.
Okay, so this ensured that there was no missing out. Earlier, what was happening was, when the first solution that we created, it worked perfectly for the first 2 3 years. There was no problem. 2018, 19, 20, 21, and all, it worked. After that, what happened is, some orders, because of the order processing not accepting the order because of the heavy load it had, it was getting rejected and it sat there. And the
Mhm.
client started complaining, saying that, hey, out of 100, two orders got missed. What happened? So then we created this simple check in between, saying that if the order gets accepted, send the other one. If it's not accepted, send the same one again till it is getting accepted. So we started doing that, and we did that last year. And now, in fact, we hardly get any calls from the UK client. It's like we're just sitting idle because the whole system just runs by itself, and it is like a foolproof now. It takes
Right.
care of itself. Even if something gets missed out, it again checks after some time, then pushes the order again. So this is how we've helped the client in UK. Again, we've had a very good monetary benefit, or we've really had a good billing with this customer, because we've supported them and ensured that every single aspect of theirs is automated. The e-commerce store installation, the pushing of the orders into the order management, and also ensuring that there is, if anything gets missed out, it gets updated automatically.
Right. And what is the duration of this project, Thomas?
We started in 2018. I think the first version got over in about 3 months,
Mhm.
and then it's been a retainer. We are on a monthly retainer with them. So every month, typically, they'll have at least 4 or 5 requirements that comes. But nowadays, it's come down a lot because the system has been automated. It's like a self-repair, mechanism. If anything goes wrong, the system itself repairs it and then moves forward. So nowadays, we hardly get any requirements from them. But
And Thomas, you mentioned about you again. You got this lead from BNI, right?
yes,
So, is there any other opportunity, like because whatever you said, like you're largely your organization depends on your personal networking
yes.
that through BNI. Is there any other way, like you're using at this moment or focusing at the moment, like to generate some international orders?
LinkedIn, I try to be active on LinkedIn a lot. And then I also attend online meetings which again is on through BNI online meetings I attend. And then I conduct weekly meetings with entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
There are close to there are two meetings that I conduct every meet. There are more than 50, 60 of them in each of them. So we
Right.
have regular meetings where we network and we try to exchange ideas and generate referrals and all that. So it's all through networking. To be honest,
All
it's
through
all through
networking.
networking. Yeah.
Fantastic. And how do you manage communication between on-site and offshore team? Because any project you take or start, it's a long, development work, like 6 months, 2 years, at times even 3 years, like
Yeah.
when it comes to custom development. So how do you manage smooth communication with your international audience?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
that
So
can
as
be tough, right? Like because you
I
two
agree.
speak well, but you can't front end every time in the project, isn't it? Like there has to be
Absolutely.
someone like a project manager. So what are the tools you use to
Yeah.
ensure smooth communication with your clients?
Yeah, exactly. As I said, when in 2017, when I took up that first project of that crowdfunding platform, one of the aspects which I was not familiar with was communicating with a client. As I said, I just cannot pick up the phone and call them, and it has to be pre-planned and getting them on board because regular interactions are mandatory for a custom software development. So what we have done is we have completely automated the communication process itself. So what we have done, we have created a live tracking link. So the entire scope of the project, whatever we've discussed during the requirement gathering, is put in our internal project management tool. So we have our internal project management tool which we have developed in house, and the entire scope is put there. And as the team works on the project, they make updates on this scope. So they mention which of these scope items is completed, to what extent it is completed, and this link is emailed to the client automatically once in every 2 or 3 days, or whenever there is an update from the team. So what
Hmm.
happens is the client is never in dark, or the client is never kept silent. I mean, it's not that there is a almost 2 weeks there has not been any communication, or the client need not wait for the next meeting until they get the communication. So the communication to the client has been completely automated. So that is one. Second thing that we do is all the projects that we work on, we create a demo server, a demo link, where whatever development happens, we push it to the server where the client can log in within the first 1 week or so. We give the client a login. So even if it is the user, let's say the sign up module has been created, the client can log in and check. If it's a masters that's been created, the client can log in and check. And we in fact insist that the client has to log in and check. So that's how we actually work with the client. We in fact demand from the client that saying that, sir, are you checking this? Are you going through this? We are developing it for you. Are you doing it? And then something that we started last year is like we've implemented a methodology where the client will have to accept whatever is being completed. So when we say that so and so module is completed, we basically update the percentage, like 10% complete, 50% complete, 100% complete. And when we say it's 100% complete, we tell the customer, sir, please go on this page. It's a link that we email to them. They have to click it, open it, and they have to put a percentage of acceptance, saying that, yeah, I also accept that it is 100% completed. Now if they don't put the 100% completed and they say it's only 50, then we go back to them and say, why do you say it's 50? What is it that has not come out the way that you are expecting? And then we ensure that we complete that particular part the way the client needs it, and then we move on to the next module. So this simple way of automating the entire process, in fact, our team, when they work on the project, they have to work through the scope only. So that's how
Right.
their time calculation and everything happens. So the entire functioning of the programmers happens in such a way that the client receives automated updates. So
Okay.
now
So
there is no complaint from the client saying that, hey, I'm not receiving an update, or what is happening, where is the demo, and all that. Yeah.
fantastic. That sounds very impressive. And also, I'm sure you would be showing the demo of each module which you guys develop during multiple stages, isn't it? It's not
Absolutely, yeah.
only about written communication or the project update software you tool. You also need to show that to your client after every development stage, isn't it?
Exactly. We create a
Right.
demo link
Demo link.
where
Okay.
even the sign up module, the master is being
Sign up
created,
module. Okay.
every single aspect is being uploaded and shown to the client, and the client has to accept saying that, yes, this has come out the way I want it.
And how do you onboard clients and ensure they understand the offshore development process, especially for your company, because you guys have a proper system in place? So, do you educate the customer, during the initial level meeting, or once you get the scope? Because that part of communication is very important for you to win the deal as well. The kind of automation you have.
Absolutely, yeah. So what we do is whatever I've just mentioned about our live tracking and the client, we have all of that in our proposal itself.
Oh, really?
We
Okay.
mention everything, and in fact, we've had situations where, like, we, for example, in one of the things that we tell in our proposal is that we need a project champion from your side,
Mhm.
somebody who is available regularly, someone who can give us updates regularly, someone who can check the demo link and mark the acceptance. So we, in fact, tell them that, okay, you guys are giving us the project, fine, we will do that for you, but there is a responsibility on your side as we develop it. So we write that in our proposal, and we've had scenarios where some customers have asked us, why are you, I'm paying you guys, but you guys are asking me to do certain work. And then we tell them that, sir, that's how it works. It's something, until and unless we don't interact with you and your feedback is not taken during development, the outcome is never going to be the way you need it. Will it work for you? Yeah, but you might have to twist and turn to ensure that it works. But if you are also part of the development process and you're a project champion all through the project, it will come out exactly the way you need it, and the cultural shock in your organization might be minimized. Many times a software is brought into a company, the team usually resists it. They don't accept it straight away. There's a lot of resistance that comes in, because they've all been working with pen and paper or with their mind and just doing things on their own, and suddenly there's a process that is brought in, suddenly there's a system that's brought in. There's a huge cultural shock that happens inside the organization, and many of the team members resist it if it's not handled correctly, if the team is not involved in the development process.
Right. And any failed project, I mean, I'm sure, with the kind of knowledge you have and team you
Yeah,
have,
yeah,
most of them would have been a big success.
yeah.
But reaching this point, I'm sure you would have failed at some point of time. And that's
Definitely,
one of the
yeah.
reasons you created this automated system.
Definitely, yes. We've had failures, not that we've not had. Like, I can give
Right.
you one of the examples. A client asked us to prepare a portal for an NGO. So this portal was supposed to connect the service providers with the service, the people who sought the service. It was like a connection bridge between both of these. And it also, since it was an NGO, it also had a payment gateway involved, donations and all that. So when we started the project, we kickstarted the project, but the being an NGO, the founder of the organization was not tech savvy. They were more like serving the people, serving, taking care of the needy, but not on a tech savvy side. So we faced huge challenge just to communicate to them what was being done, how it was being done. So showing a demo, we faced a lot of challenges there. And what happened was, a couple of years back, the payment gateways got into trouble. Now payment gateways, even now also, not every company is able to receive a payment gateway on time. Last year and all, it was put on hold for some time. And even as an NGO, to receive that tax benefit, I think it's called Form 80 or something like that. I'm not sure. I don't remember the exact jargon. So that's an approval that they get from the government to collect donations, and the person who is paying receives a tax benefit. There also there was a delay from the client, because the government had made it very strict during that time, and I think that was a time when a lot of FCRA were being revoked from companies. So there was a lot of scrutiny being done on NGOs, and why are they using this exemptions, tax exemptions, and also there was a delay to get the approvals. And this delay, the customer was not able to accept the delay, and the timing, and also by the time, because that was required for us to do the payment integration, and that was one of the items that was on hold for a very long time, and we were not able to do that. And that delay and everything, then finally client said, okay, we are going to put this project on hold for now, we are not going to continue with this project. So that was one of the cases where the project was abruptly stopped after we received a payment for what we completed. It's not that the client did not pay us. So he paid us for what was completed, but we couldn't successfully finish the whole project because of those aspects. Yeah,
Was it for a domestic client or for
it was
overseas?
a domestic client. Yeah.
Right, fantastic. So
Yeah.
that's the only case you have.
No, if you ask me, have there been other cases?
No, obviously
Uh,
there could be, but
yeah, there
overall,
will
like
be. Yeah,
what I've heard from you so far in terms of your approach and
yeah.
the complete automated
See,
process
I'll,
you
I'll tell
have.
you cases, probably, I wouldn't say failure, but cases where we have not made profits. Okay, I can
Right,
tell that. So
right.
what would have happened in certain cases which have happened is, like we sign up a project, and the one is the client might not give us all the information on time. Okay, something that we may have thought would get completed in 3 months if all the information is available, but the client is either the client had some personal challenges or business challenges or priority shifting or something, and they decide not to give us information after 2 months for whatever reason, not because they don't want to, but because of some priorities. And then what happens is this project, which is supposed to get over in 3 months, might drag for 6 months, and we don't charge our customers a penny extra if they delay the project. So that's a commitment that we bring onto the table. So how we manage that is, we try to use our team for other projects. Okay, and but many a times that doesn't happen, because it's we don't get another project for an interim period of 3 months and then we go back, so it doesn't happen. So we don't go and tell the customer, no, we're going to charge you another 50% extra or 20% extra. So we, for that customer, because we understand that they're going through, like during COVID, many customers, we've just said, okay, don't pay us a retainer, it's fine, I know you
Mhm.
guys are struggling, so just uh, leave the retainer, no problem. But by God's grace, of course, during COVID, we had a good financial cash flow happening, because we had projects coming in during COVID. So we, many customers who were really struggling, we just told them, yeah, no problem. And if you ask, were those projects profitable? No, we actually incurred losses in those projects. Wherever client delays it, or a client is unable to pay us for some time. So
Right.
yeah, we've let go of profits in few projects, but overall, yeah, we clients have been with us, and it's really worked well for us.
Sounds good, Thomas. And what
Mm.
future technology do you see as a game changer for the offshore development industry?
Yeah, obviously
Anything
nowadays.
you want to bet on? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so nowadays, obviously, it is the artificial intelligence, machine learning, and all these things are coming in. And also, there's a lot of buzz on low code applications and all that.
Well, that's been there
Uh,
for a long time, like I've been saying.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's been there for a long time, but
Yeah.
somehow we've not really adopted it much, because when we do a custom software development and we create something that's very unique for the client, with a lot of features and ability to customize the any way that we need. Uh, certain areas, when we use low code applications, for example, say, I've not really tested every platform, so it's not that I'm telling as an expert, but what happens is, whenever we use a framework or a platform that we can adopt into a project, there are limitations that it poses. Okay, so when a client needs a specific feature in a specific manner, and if that particular framework or that particular methodology is not providing it, then we'll have to do a workaround, and then we'll have to tell the client that, hey, this is not possible. We'll have to do it something. So most of the work that we do is literal core development. We usually typically do not go to frameworks
Mhm.
until and unless we are extremely sure that using a framework can help in that particular project. So yeah, low code is something people have been asking, and AI ML is also something that people have been looking at, and trying to integrate them into the projects. And I would say, see, artificial intelligence is something that's always been in a software. So for example, that example that I gave, the middleware software that sits between the e-commerce and the order processing, it's actually like an artificial intelligence application sitting there and monitoring whatever is happening, and picking up those specific orders and pushing it to the order management, and checking again if it's been punched in correctly, and then sending it back again if it's not been punched in. So the entire logic that's been put over there is like a human being sitting there and monitoring the entire order processing system. So this has already been integrated. It's going to increase. It's going to become far more, and even in customer service, like the initial answering of questions to a customer when they come for any like service requests and all that, that might probably be handled entirely by AI in the future, and only probably a summary of it would be given to the internal team so that then they can get back to the client if required. So those are areas I think we are going to see some changes happening going forward. Yeah.
Now, how does your organization planning to invest in AI and in blockchain and other areas? You guys planning to
Yeah.
build a team, or you already have a started training resources in that?
So one of the cultural items that we give a lot of significance in our organization is we ensure that every team member is continuously learning. So we, in fact, track this learning. We've got a learning tracking, a simple LMS that's inside our tool, where we give small projects also to our team members to learn new technologies, new methodologies, and we keep evaluating that. That the progress, we track the progress on a weekly basis, and we evaluate that once every few months. Okay, how. And we also have a skill rating. Every team member has to update their skills, the rating that they give to that, and we appreciate those with the highest skills. So it's like a culture that we've brought into our organization. So all these technologies that are there, the team is continuously learning. So when we get a project, if it's a new project, if the client is okay that okay, we do an MVP, a minimum viable product or something initially, we use our existing team. If the client is saying no, we need an experienced team, then we'll have to onboard from the market.
Right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
And what does your typical day in your life look like as a CEO of Rajola? I know, you're a busy person. So how do you manage your day-to-day activities?
Okay, so I have a morning and an evening routine, which kind of sets me for the day and also for the night. So I invest in the morning, at least 2 to 3 hours. I divide my time into spirit, soul, and body. So it's like starting from reading the Bible, praying, and working out. I take my dog out for a walk. So all these things put together helps me to start my day. And then I read something. Like now I just picked up a book on ERP. Though we've been doing ERPs, I thought, okay, let me read something about it so that I can probably help the customer more. So I read in the morning. And then again in the evening, I do a small routine of spirit, soul, and body. So I give a lot of emphasis on spirit, spiritual aspects. So that's what helps me to remain peaceful, calm, charged up, no matter what the situation.
Well, much needed, isn't it, Thomas? It was wonderful talking to you. I was more like fascinated as to if you look at during the entire conversation of my previous episodes and all, I'm pretty talkative. I keep talking, but during talking to you, I was just observing. I want to see, because there's so much of information you have shared in the last 45 minutes or 50 minutes. So it was a learning lesson for me as well. So it was wonderful talking to you. It's a pleasure, and I hope to catch up with you soon, Thomas.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Suresh. It's been a pleasure. And you asked very good questions. It's been almost like a coaching session for me, also. So,
Well, I, to be very honest, I was pretty intimidated by your presence in the podcast.
I hope it's
Sorry,
been, yeah, I
it
hope
was
it was,
wonderful.
yeah. Thank you.
Cheers. Talk to you soon.
Thank
Meet
you
soon.
very much. Yeah. So we'll catch up again. So I'll come back to you on those requirements that you told.
Sure, sure.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
And that's a wrap for today's episode. A big thanks to our guest and to you for tuning in. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your support helps us bring more awesome episodes. For more update, visit our website at onsiteandoffshore.com and do follow us on social media. Stay tuned for more exciting content in the coming weeks. Until next time, this is Suresh Ashok signing off. Take care and keep thriving in your offshoring journey.